Good
Hello,
evening,
hello, hello,
everyone.
hello.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome and welcome, welcome. First of all, good evening and welcome. My name is Denise Thomas. I'm the Diva D from Carved Out Divas.
You sound like you got confused about who you was.
I have so many personalities that don't even make sense. Come on, let's go. Go.
I'm April Carr from April's Beauty Bar. We have our special guest.
I am Dr. Kamitra Edwards. I'm the Executive Director of Village of Excellence, but I'm representing me tonight because I have a red solo cup.
And you all are capturing us live for Diversity and Equity in Education. We are being hosted by the phenomenal Bianca Gooseby with Teacher for the Culture.
The
Welcome,
culture.
welcome everybody. I'm back in Chicago, y'all. I'm back in Chicago.
As teachers, we rule. First of all, there you go.
I'm from Lucio.
Child.
We got to bring some laughter to all of this with so much of the craze going on.
Exactly.
So last night was another sleepless night for me. I probably went to bed like about what, Didi? About 5 something when you was getting up?
Because the last text came in around 4:45. It's a.m.
I text all night. I do, but that's my friend. She know I'm just up. My nerves bad. My nerves is bad. So while the kids are sleeping and the house is quiet, I'm praying, and then when they get up, I go to bed. That's just what we're doing. That's what we're doing over here. So how are y'all feeling, ladies, with all the craze going on with Rona? Acting up.
Well, one thing I got to admit, and I'm very pleased by it. Like I told y'all before, I said God is doing a factory reset on this whole entire world. And let me tell you how God works so strong. He has officially, it's less than 3 days that people have been home, and he's already brought back God, prayer, and spanking the school. So ain't God good? Let's get a praise on that. Because I'm telling you, he done brought it all back to school already. Twirl on the chair, twirl. He brought it back already. Because there's parents who talk about, listen, there's parents right now doing this right now. They taking their front pillows, they side pose, they doing the side pose this side, because they prepping for prison right now. Because there's gonna be capital murder once up in people's house, murder once. Because I've been reading these posts. I'm like, really, y'all are suspended? My question is this: when you suspend your own child, where he gonna go?
They don't know. They just going. They don't know.
Somebody, grandma, auntie,
grandma. First of all,
grandma don't want that Rona. Grandma don't want Rona.
She don't want to keep your children home and take off that job. That's what they say. Don't go to that job.
So, listen, we looked at the e-platform. I printed off this lovely document from the school district on the e-learning platform right here. And the part that I like is this. I want to share this with y'all. It says, study tips for learning at home. Set a regular daily schedule. The schedule should be divided into 15 to 30 minute sessions. Set specific goals to accomplish. Take a brain break between sessions. Avoid distractions by turning off the TV, cell phone, and other devices. And keep a notebook, journal, or electronic copy of your work possible. This came right off the e-learning page.
So my question for you, who is that for? Let's be clear so we can have expectations. Who is that document for? Is that for the teacher, the parent, or the child?
Well, let me start with the top part where it says, in the event of school closure, students should log into EDSB to access assignments provided by their teachers. If the assignments are not available, students should follow the district contingency instructional plan, which include alternative assignments to extend the learning at home. This is for students.
Okay. So we got to get some people invited in this conversation, because parents, that would be me. Parent, that would be Dr. Edwards. How do you feel about that?
So I thought it was very interesting. I love the little plan of how you're supposed to spend 15 minutes and then take a break. And I just thought, wow, professionally, that'd be great too if we could do that in our schools, if we had time to create that kind of schedule. But nevertheless, I thought it was a beautifully written idea of what should happen. Now, I know, with real kids, it doesn't really roll like that, but again, it was a good idea.
Right. And that's what I said from the beginning. On paper, it looks marvelous.
Look fabulous.
Realistically, I just don't. We don't live in that what you call it, the Stetson wise, the Stetson wise, that community where everybody got out the house and everybody's houses look the same and the cars look the same and the kids act the same. That's not realistic. So I do not discredit the plan. I discredit the realistic outcome from it.
Correct. Because no, I'm gonna tell you, I went all the way through Clever. I went through the program, and I actually found the assignment for middle school. They actually have the day 1 and day 2 and day 3 and day 4 plan up right now. And the assignment for my middle school students that they would click on is called Going, Gone. It's an article, an XYZA news article. Very, very good article. Okay. However, how many will actually go on there, read the assignment, answer the questions? You know what I'm saying? Because it's great, a great piece of text. It's high level. It's rigorous. But my thing is like, well, you know, like I went outside today to go clean out some stuff on my car. My neighbor was outside, and they were asking me those same questions. So what are we gonna do? No, ain't nobody over here got laptops and tablets and stuff like that. And they got kids in different grade levels, kindergarten all the way to middle school. Let me come in real quick. They asking me, they can come through. Who coming through with my house is running free? No, ain't nobody coming over here. No.
What's the real tea? What's the real tea? Because
so can parents pick up multiple devices?
No, the kids all have.
Go ahead.
The kids all have like
there's
phones.
a part in the plan that you held up that said that parents can come and check out devices. So
okay, hold on one second.
Pick up one device and share it amongst their children, or will they be able to pick up multiple? I'm just trying to understand
that part. I'm actually not clear about either, because is it one per household, or is it if you got 5 kids in between middle and high school, can you get multiple devices? That part has not been clarified, so we don't know. You really don't know about that part.
To ask.
And it goes back to this too. We can pick up the devices, but for parents that have to go to work,
right,
and siblings that also have to do their own work, who keeping them accountable for getting the work done?
And what about any damages to the thing? Because you have to be very, very careful when it comes to equipment.
Kids will break keep them accountable. April, it's the teacher's responsibility.
Let me straighten this alveoli. Hold on. Because that hair like came over there and just almost started swinging just then. Hold on. Let me pull this out back. Hold on.
The expectation is that you all, as the teachers, are going to be monitoring this work that's being done and turned in, and you all will be holding the students accountable as to whether the work is done or not.
But the question is, how, when everybody doesn't have the devices, they need to get the work done?
What page is that in the plan?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that in the plan? That's a
hold on one second. Well, let me think about it. Say what?
I think it's in the plan that teachers are supposed to start logging in on Monday. On Monday. I don't know how teachers are supposed to start logging in on Monday. Teachers haven't received any training.
Well, let's talk about all the stuff that no longer exists. Here is the old FSA test schedule. We could just cross that up and throw that in the garbage.
Throw that out.
Okay, here's the huge packet of you're gonna sign your life away with the test security protocol. We can just toss that in the garbage. We can just toss that in the garbage. Hey, how's the FSA test prep that my kids go do every Monday? We're just gonna toss that in the garbage. Hey, listen, hey, we test free now. So now we can actually listen. Can I you know what?
When I tell you the Father has shined his light on us educators,
I'm telling you,
unfortunate circumstances. But when I tell you he done brought the careers back to the forefront, say you will treat us right. Yes. You will respect us.
Yes.
You will. You will. Education will be more
respect coming.
Let me ask y'all, do y'all think we're going back? Do you really think we're going back?
No.
I think we're just trying to not create a true panic amongst our communities, and allow more time for preparation that should have been more front loaded in situations like this, because unfortunately we have hurricane plans. That's a plan that we have had forever. We got all the plans for storms, but I'm trying to figure out, we are in Tampa and USF has a biochemical, whatever it is, lab right there in like less than 10 minutes from my house. Why wouldn't we have what do you call it?
A contingency plan.
Mm-hmm. We have an Army base right here.
Had that plan.
McNeil Air Force Base.
But let's go back though. But why wouldn't we? Being that we have those key elements in our city, why wouldn't we?
We should have been thinking about this when Lee Elementary burned down. When Lee Elementary burned down after the hurricane, we should have started thinking like, you know what? We need to come up with some plans for remote and distant learning, because in the event that something else happened like this again, that was like the first wake-up call that should have started having everybody forward thinking in that process.
That's a good thought. Yeah, you're right. Even without all the other elements.
Right. Well, so let's come back though, because we are in Tampa and we just went through a whole superintendent search.
Right.
And we hired Mr. Davis, whose pay is 2 to 3 times the pay of Mr. Eakins. So if I was Mr. Eakins, what would I say? Y'all get the new man to do it. His last day was Friday, wasn't it? It was Friday.
And he did this, I'm sure.
Just like he did at that news conference when he said, and here's your new superintendent.
Right.
He did that.
Go slide on out.
For real. Like, so for real. Like, I'm done with y'all. I'm done with y'all.
Right on out the picture. So who should have been planning, and all of them have been looking for new jobs. So the people who should have been planning, many of them were looking for new jobs or retiring along with their boss. And so we're a little bit behind the curve. I do believe we're a little bit behind the curve.
This year is pretty much a wash.
Behind the curve.
Yeah, this year's a wash right now. I don't think that you should just like basically if you're gonna administratively push them along, just go ahead and do it. Because to me, you're already in the fourth quarter. Why would you hold anybody back? Why would you say, okay, now I gotta hold kids back?
Well, because I don't agree with that. Quarters 1, 2, or 3. That's why they be held back.
Well, okay, but they did say hold on one second. Did I see somewhere the document where it said it was a parent's choice to whether or not they would allow them to clarify that.
So this is what I gained from it. If a student was already at a projected rate of failing at this current point, they would fail. They don't get to just wipe that away. That's a misconception. Okay. Now, if a parent feels as though that, yes, they are projected to pass and possibly, their portfolio collection is projected for them to pass, then yes, the parent has the choice to say, yes, A, move them forward, or no, B, keep them behind. Okay. There's no just wash it away that a child that was collectively failing up until the third quarter last Friday. We already know in the third quarter who's going to pass or fail. That's correct. Because the 4 or 5 weeks, technically, based on my classroom experience, based on your administrative experience, Dr. Edwards, and your experience too, Denise, is that we already know in the third quarter who's passing or failing. Because the 4 or 5 weeks technically is nothing but preparing for assessments. That's to be honest. The final exam and the FSA. That's to be honest. So I don't know. That to me, that's a misconception. Maybe I'm the one misunderstanding it, but that's what I got from it. What did y'all get from it?
And I agree. I agree with that thought process, because it's like you're like I know I already seen some kids like, okay, you had an F first, second, and third quarter. You really you should repeat the next year, because you've already showed while you were in school that you weren't going to be successful. But then again, I have a whole bunch of them too as well who have shown great gains, and so it's like I know these ones should be moving on. Okay. So now I'm wondering are they going to allow the teachers to go in there and say, hey, here's based on this data, these are the ones that should be pushed forward. Those are questions I have right now.
But to me, my thing is that shouldn't even be a question. You are the teacher. You determine who moves on and who doesn't. That's not a question.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying the question for me. I'm just saying when I look at it administratively now. Okay, once I put forth all this paperwork and said, okay, and like completed my my grades, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Okay, all this one child who you knew failed all the way through. Why didn't moving forward? That's a child that shouldn't have moved forward.
Oh, administration should not be making that decision. If anybody changed my grades, it's gonna be problems.
Okay.
I don't know any administrator who would want to be in that situation. Because the reality is what April said, we're doing fourth 9 weeks is what we're doing fourth 9 weeks. We're planning graduations. We have end of the year events and celebrations of learning. We have testing. I mean, we test for like 4 to 5 weeks straight.
Right.
So I mean, honestly, losing fourth 9 weeks, it's not like you're losing a whole lot of instruction. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks of new content would be introduced, but after that, it's shut down. Maybe we get about 2, maybe 3 more weeks of new content introduction. But then, honestly, it was shut down from there.
Grades, what is it?
So now grades K through 2, yeah, they're still teaching the whole way through. So they actually do lose that fourth 9 weeks. But all the other grade levels, it's really kind of a shift toward assessments and a lot of trying to get to mastery on some of them earlier standards that were taught in August and September, like revisiting those and trying to push them to remember, recall, and show mastery that they showed earlier in the year.
Right.
I like the fact that that we can now use this time to strengthen skills. Yeah, there are a lot of things that kids have lost during the year or they missed. You know, hey, here's a great opportunity now to start strengthening all those different standards that I was having issues with. I'm like, let's hit those now. Let's go over main idea and let's go over, you know, author's purpose, and let's go over all the things that you're looking at. You know, and that to me, that's a great thing.
Right.
Without all the pressure of
started writing those lesson plans yet? The online learning lesson plans?
They built in. These built in. I just gotta hit click.
Well, this is my thing for that. All of the lesson plans are great, dandy. I get that. The ultimate goal is to continue learning amongst our youth. But I know for a fact that in our district, it is frowned upon when homework is utilized as a high percentage for students with to carry out enrichment skills at home and independent study or works, because they know that all students do not equitably have parent support or guardian support at home. So I'm trying to figure out, so now since there's a new trait or variable that's going to infiltrate that whole thought process, what's going to be the difference now? How are you shifting that, now since we got to do e-learning and the Florida Department of Education say blah, 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 this population of kids that really was only designed for them. Now, how does that work? What does that look like? Because the fact still remains. They do not have that same support or resources at home available. So what does that look like for them? What does this truly look like for them? Because I even asked my math coach, when, there was some information out there about the e-learning platform, is there going to be an opportunity for those kids or parents that want to opt to have a paper-based method? Can or will that be available? The question wasn't answered, but my thought process is that would be more realistic for them. And then being given an opportunity to have a phone number, a contact number, a text, a bank, or whatever, text availability, that if they have questions, they can ask. But to just say to them,
what the expectation is, that's what teachers are going to be doing. I think the expectation is that teachers will have opportunities throughout their day because you're still on the clock for the same number of contact hours. So I think the expectation is that those teachers will give the kids opportunities to and ask them questions, respond to questions, so it's not going to be all on the parents. That's the expectation.
And I prayerfully hope that is so.
Yeah. So also our another big concern for us also is dealing with food. I've been seeing a lot of posts about getting meals and things to the kids. And
okay, you're jumping around, Denise. Are we finished with the other topic? You're jumping. Okay, so the expectations for the kids. So we know what that is. The expectations for the teachers. Are we sure what that looks like?
I'm going to say this, and I probably do more on my live. I do not feel like it's a realistic expectations for teachers to shift their paradigm from teaching live classes to online classes with zero training. I'm sorry. I think that's the most ridiculous expectation ever.
Can you share your experience
it's a whole
about
different pedagogy around online teaching.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I'm gonna jump on what you just said there. Okay. So because we had to leave in a hurry on that Friday, okay, everybody leave quick. We're closing things down. Okay. Everyone may not have been able to grab a district laptop or something that some piece of a device that allows you to connect directly to the district. So if you are, as a teacher, like my experience is this, as I was trying to log on for the class, to register for the class to show you how to teach an online class. Well, there's no way for me to do it unless I do it from a district computer. So here's the thing. I have my own personal laptop, so I can go all the way up to the screen that allows me to see the class, but I can't register for the class, which means I actually have to physically go into a location that has a district computer, or I have to wait till Monday when school opens back up again for me to run in real fast, get a complete plastic bag, run in my room, grab my laptop, and come back. Okay. So here, that's the dilemma right there. So then from that point on, now I actually have to take the course. But the question is, there's a lot of teachers that either will or will not do that, because it's like, you know how difficult it is to try and convert everything to an online platform. And there's a lot of teachers that truly, like, the old school teachers, we know old school teachers, there's some things they just ain't gonna do. They just like, look here, my lesson plans are laminated from the 1972 and I ain't changing this. That's it.
And that's a true fact. And I do feel as though we're being, in certain situations, in this situation, we're being insensitive to educators abroad. Because have anyone asked, how are the teachers doing?
Right.
Have anybody asked that? Has anybody asked, how are we preparing for our families? Have anybody asked what we're thinking about for our children? Has anybody asked?
Right.
It's just a matter of now we got to do this, and this. Has anybody asked the teachers their input, ones that are currently in the classroom? I'm not saying that they didn't. I just know that it seems as though the plans are being provided around us versus being truly discussed to say what would be most beneficial per site, not per district, per site.
But the question is,
well, hold on.
Go ahead.
I mean, April, you can even back it up further than that. Is this supposed to be spring break?
Right.
We're supposed to be on break right now. We're supposed to be on break. Hold on, let me get
I'm
this
in Chicago.
Quick.
I ain't on the plane, but I'm in Chicago. Hold on.
I'm supposed to be on break.
You got teachers scrambling around here. I got so many inboxes and texts, and I'm like, these questions not CTA related. Nor are you on my team and work at Jennings. So why y'all asking me?
I don't know. None of us. Now, look, while y'all feel like y'all haven't taken a break, administrators have not taken a break at all.
Right.
Most of us worked the weekend. I worked Saturday all day. My team worked Saturday all day. We worked Sunday. We worked Monday. We took off yesterday because the building was being cleaned. We worked all day today. We working all day tomorrow. So, and I'm not complaining. Please don't write comments that I'm complaining, because I'm not complaining. But I just want people to understand. I want the general public. So teachers, y'all can write in, okay? But I do want the general public to understand that when y'all thinking, oh, teachers get all these holidays, we don't get holidays. We don't get all this time off. We work. We work ourselves hard to make sure that we're doing the best job we can do for kids. So yes, no complaints. I'm not complaining. I just need the general public to understand. When you hear us say like, oh, we're on spring break, woohoo. When people hear y'all say, oh, we going to Chicago, don't hate. Because the reality is most of the time you in Chicago still feeling text messages, still talking to parents. Still, you don't take no breaks. You don't get time off. It sounds good, but it's not realistic. So general public, teachers work. They work 24/7. They never get a break. That's it. My rant over.
Yeah, that's all right, because in terms of, even though we physically not there with your children and you handling all those behavior issues that we've been telling you about for months and years, but now we're handling paperwork. We're scrambling, trying to figure out. Look, I'm supposed to be on spring break, but I'm here trying to figure out how I'm gonna register for this class, trying to do all this stuff, read all these million emails, do it. Wait a minute, I'm supposed to be on spring break too. Okay, so that's a big thing to understand. So are we good? Because I'm always trying to keep cognizant with the time. That's the reason why I was trying to move on to the next topic.
Give April a little space on her second topic, because we have kids too. So I'm trying to homeschool my children and do this work. Like, just give us some space to do both. Just like healthcare workers have some space. So just, general public, be a little bit forgiving. If when they say teachers supposed to be ready and live Monday, give us a couple of days, because the reality is nobody has actually had training. No one is actually gone into their site and gotten some service delivery from their administrative team with a PD. Like we normally roll stuff out. We're all trying to put this together. So just give us a little grace. That's all.
Right. Because the only ones who are really ready is the ones who for Florida virtual school. They've been doing virtual school forever. That's their job.
And now my next question would be is, Hillsborough got a Florida virtual school setting too, don't they?
Yes.
So why we just then shift?
I don't think they have enough employees for that workload.
But you got to take every single person quicker to do it that way with a platform that's already in place versus trying to create all these individual silos of teachers trying to figure this out on their own.
Ma'am, you thinking too deep.
Legs! Making too much sense. You're making too much sense.
So right now we are running around Hillsborough County, in my opinion. Maybe not the leaders, the ones that are making the decision, but teachers are running around losing their minds. A lot of us trying to figure out what are we expected to do, when are we expected to do it by, how are we expected to do it, with the assumption that we all have high-speed internet. That's the key. With the assumption, because keep in mind, you got some teachers living check to check, a high percentage of them. So what do you want them to do? What do you want them to do?
And you're right, because I'm running my high speed on all my devices, and you're not going to interrupt my Netflix for nobody. I'm just letting y'all know. I got a whole Netflix, Hulu lineup.
I'm just like, and then my next question is it realistic, and we'll move forward with the technology, is it realistic for Spectrum, Frontier, whoever it is that's supposed to be providing the services for the homes, is it realistic for them to come in and put in that amount of digital connectivity for all of these kids in this short amount of time? Is that realistic?
That's another thing.
So let's go back to my post that I put on y'all's pages today, which is in some parts of the country, this is a good question for us to ask. They have said no to e-learning.
Right.
Because they know that in their most vulnerable populations, they don't have the same level of access, whether it is through devices, whether it is through internet and speed for Wi-Fi, whether all of that is available for their vulnerable populations. And so for equity, they have said no e-learning.
For what?
Equity.
Say that again for the people in the back.
Say loud.
You need to pull that up on the computer. Equity.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because we clear on it. And see it says, Milana says, remember e-learning was put into place for the week, but now that we're going longer for a better plan, administration has 72 hours to roll out the virtual plan.
How does that help, ma'am? How does that help the children at their homes where they don't have, all they have is a cell phone?
Milana, we are clearly aware that the plan for the internet has been out for years. And if the parents didn't take advantage of it then, there possibly were some barriers at that point. So I know for a fact from a family member that there are barriers, meaning that if you currently already have owed money to that particular company, they're not going to provide the free service. See, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're just making all these assumptions that they're just going to, they can't put the service in the child name.
Nope.
So I know for a fact that's the case. So if a parent already got a $3,000 bill, they're not coming to put new service in the house. They're not extending that unless that's a new part of the protocol, because the prior that already exists that we've known about for years, we know that. But most parents cannot utilize the resource because they already have it. And they can't put it in their name no more.
Well, what about the parents who actually don't have a home?
Right.
Homeless. Right. Thank you.
So I just want to hop in here because I seen a comment. And
somebody jumped on it. What's up?
I did. I had to hop in. I'm so sorry. I saw a comment and it said parents need a parent. And I agree that parents need a parent, but I also want to say and talk about this too, is that unfortunately, we have had systemic issues in Tampa that has not allowed our parents to parent children, and they've been incarcerated, they've been in the foster care system. There's a whole bunch of compound things. And so I want to make sure that we are very clear on this, is that, you know, this is not an attack on parents. We're not out here just talking about parents, because I see people talking about, well, parents need to be parents. Well, the same system that's failing our children is the same system that has failed our children for generation after generation after generation. So I just want to make sure that we clear on that, and let me go back and get my tea.
Go ahead. Thank you, B. Thank you.
Look, that was like a breaking news moment. Come through.
Yes, I like
it. So again, I just want to make sure that we wanted to come on to just, you know, make sure that we provided some insight from where our perspectives are as current employees. No, we're not bashing what the district is doing. They're doing the best they can. The question is, how realistic is it for our population of youth that we serve? That is what we're talking about. So again, before we start telling that the wrong story, make sure they watch the whole video.
Correct. We like to pop in. Some people want to give you a clip from 14.2 seconds to 13 point something and then say that's the whole thing. No.
Marlene say, Bianca, how you got a chance to pop in? Marlene, would you like to hop in?
You need to pop in.
You. We can send you the link, Marlene. We welcome you. You want to come through?
Pop on in.
I mean, we're talking about very real issues of kids that we actually know and see and work with on a daily basis. This is not I think sometimes people just sit around and think of hypothetical situations. We are not sitting around thinking of hypotheticals. We're thinking about real names. We're not calling the names on the internet because these are children, but I think of children that I know their family life. I know their personal situations. I know they're living with the cousin or living with somebody. So they can't access it unless the cousin decides, and then the cousin can't get it in their name because their name's not even on an apartment lease. So now, I mean, you know, it's very difficult. We're looking into maybe even getting Wi-Fi hotspots because that's something I can hand you.
Right.
You don't have to go through the
right.
But again, I don't know where all these finances coming from to pay all of this. But we're looking at that. We're looking at giving kids a Chromebook or some kind of device to help them because everything can't be accessed on the cell phone. Some things can, but everything that we're pushing out cannot be accessed. Sometimes we push out things and we expect it to be printed. Well, how are the kids going to print it? They don't have access to a printer. The libraries are closed. So we just need to think through, like, you know, all factors. And I know everyone's doing the best they can. However, there's a key word: equity. We never want to forget.
And then also too, because I saw a post recently that just said the kids can have access, I think, to the Google Docs through their Xbox, through their whatever those games system, but those kids are not going to do it. I mean, I understand that, but then how difficult it is to use controllers to open up documents that they're accustomed to playing games on, you know? So, I mean, I understand you're trying to make it accessible as possible for them, but that's going to be, I just can't see it being feasible for a lot of kids.
So Mialana says, so what is the perfect plan? Mialana, don't take personal, like we are talking directly to you about that. We're just responding. So please, no, it's not that. We're not saying you're attacking parents. We're talking in general. So again, so what is the perfect plan? There is no perfect plan. No. There is no perfect plan. Again, we are identifying what is not currently what we feel realistic, equitably realistic for specific parents or families that we serve. That is what we're saying. That's let me correct that. That is what I am saying. Because I know for a fact in my classrooms of the 100 plus, not 25, not 30, 100 plus that I see on a day-to-day basis, less than 10% of them will be able to utilize this particular plan, or utilize it, be able to do this specific plan. And I don't know how much success rate that would even look like, knowing that their parents work or parents work. That's my thing. And I think that's what we are here to discuss. Like, realistically, what is that going to look like for our children that don't have the two-parent household, don't have the older sibling that is knowledgeable about computers, don't have, all the don't have that equity piece. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
you know what? Let me say this. I went in and started reading some of the comments. I think this is the key of what we're saying tonight. Is these questions are the questions that we're asking to be at the table. These are the questions that need to be discussed at the table. Hopefully someone is discussing them. And if not, then get those representatives who can ask these kinds of questions and have these kind of discussions to the table. Because some tables don't include the right people. Not going backwards, going forward. But some tables don't have the right people asking the right questions that will actually move us forward. So while administrators are trying to do the best, everyone's trying to scramble. I think sometimes we need to give ourselves time to breathe and ask the right questions. So instead of announcing teachers are going to go live with instruction on the 23rd, you shouldn't have said that. Let's back that up and say teachers aren't ready to go live with instruction, and you're asking, you're just asking for really the impossible. So how about we give teachers a day, give administrators a day to plan, give teachers time to work together as a team and think and relax and not be stressed and not be trying to worry about their kids at home. Like, so some of these things that we're saying, we don't have the answers. We do believe the answers in the room.
Right.
If you have the right people at the table in the room.
Correct. I saw a question on there talking about, are they going to have an opportunity for parents to come and sign up and get the devices and things like that? Those are good questions too. Because parents want their children to learn. I mean, they want their children to learn, but you've got to provide them with the right tools. And that whole thing, what you said about not going online, you're right. Some people just can't learn that way. I need to go back to the quotes. I can't see them from there. The screen is kind of small. What was that last one?
April,
I can't see it.
You're reading.
I'm trying to read, but my phone keeps saying something is installed. Understand, I've said and worried about the same things for students I service. As a team, we've discussed how to go out. Good. Maybe at your site, you all are discussing as a team. Most sites have not doing that. Maybe you're privy to be a part of the administrative team. I don't know. But there are a lot of people, teachers, educators, administrators that have not had any discussions. So you may be at a site that have a very strong leadership team. I'm not sure about that.
Let me say this. I'm gonna throw this in. I'm sorry. I was supposed to do my own live tomorrow. I'm gonna put this out there now. I did a live last week where I asked the question. I'm sorry. I'm taking over y'all live. Y'all go ahead.
No, go.
So I stated
our live today.
I'm mad at how we were notified of the first school closure.
It was very short notice.
I found out sitting in a restaurant with some man screaming out, schools are closed for, the next week. And I was like, what you talking about? I went on my district email. There was nothing. It was 5:30. There was nothing. I went to the district website. There was nothing.
Correct.
I went to the state and started looking. Then I went to like CNN or I went to Channel 8 News. That's where I saw it. Oh, okay. So we started scrambling. I'm running to the store to buy materials. I mean, we literally started scrambling at 6 o'clock. The email hit my email box at 6 p.m. It had already been out in the atmosphere for an hour. Okay?
Right.
And I said, this is not okay that we are the last to know. When we have systems like ReadyOps, Parent Link, where you could hit our telephones with a text message in seconds. Now, I'm speaking from an administrative perspective. I got a hand slap for that. Well, don't say that. Don't go on Facebook saying that because, we tried our best. Well, I'm sorry. I don't think that was okay. And information still comes out late. We still figure out, I was like, I'm just going to watch Ron DeSantis and I'm going to see what he says. Because whatever he says, that's what we're doing. Because I cannot depend on the district because they're updating their website. And I'm like, you have administrators we can't answer the teachers' questions.
Wow. And that's my point. You said it right there. There you go. You go. How are we supposed to feel empowered without true foundational information to be able to share with our own families, number one, then with friends that assume we know because we work for the district, and then spiraling out to community. If the leader don't know, that makes us all feel uneasy. So let's go back to this. How are the teachers doing? I haven't slept. I haven't slept in days. I haven't slept. But in the meantime, that's okay as long as I'm waiting for whatever to happen.
Right.
And to us, you're not sleeping. You know, we could look at it that way. But again, there's a bigger scope to all of this.
Right.
I'm thinking about the 100 plus. Because my 100 plus, once again, less than 10% of them are truly able. I'm able to say, okay, I know they'll be good. The rest, I don't know. And I ain't talking about no education academics at all. At all. That's not what I'm talking about.
And that's exactly what I was saying to would lead into everything else, because I'm like, okay, I know that they want us to do all this for them academically, but then what about like that Friday when they were left with all the food bags, we had nothing left. Okay, so I'm looking in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what about, are they eating? Are they sleeping? How stressed out are they doing? Like the articles we were reading today in terms of the trauma. You know, I found some information I hear, we're talking about the trauma with the kids. They said that over 50% of kids in the United States have experienced some kind of trauma. And we're talking about things like abuse, neglect, violence, challenging household situation. And now on top of that, you're going to tell them they're going to be home, probably taking care of siblings and things like that. And now they're going to do all the education online. So it's stressful for the kids. It's stressful for the kids.
Let's ask that question. Have we asked the kids what they feel about this overall educational plan? Are we asking the kids how they're doing mentally? Are we just ready to shovel a new process down their throats to say, hey, by the way, since there's no school and you could possibly be sick or somebody in your family sick, or, you know, we don't know. So again, how are the children doing? Are we trying to ask, are they okay?
And I don't think anybody reached out to find out how the kids are doing. And
so
and they don't understand.
Hold on, guys. So Paula Thomas says, I'm giving a parent. She says, online requires discipline as a college graduate. It was hard for me. Will we have any tutorial for our parents that are not familiar with e-learning?
Legs.
And Paula Thomas also says, what is the mental health looking for? Like our Paula, you're gonna make me get up and start running around here.
Screaming.
Listen, see, I said I wasn't gonna get loud. Okay, hold on. Let me bring it down.
They forget to realize that teachers are also traumatized by this. Teachers suffer from the same trauma. What I read it.
It's called post-secondary trauma.
Post-secondary trauma, and you said it's called compassion fatigue and vicarious trauma. That's what it's called. And it's like, you mean, because we taking all this from the kids, and then you expect us to go home and be all right. Or I don't heard the one child say, I ain't eating 3 days, and the next time I'm gonna get a meal is when I come back to school. But now that same child who told me they don't eat on the weekends is now gonna be home till April 15th. How that baby eating? And I'm just supposed to go home and take that, and just I'm okay with that. Because I don't know what the child doing right now. When the child asks for 2 and 3 food bags, can I just take them, please? Yes.
Food bags, may I add, that were being collected prior to all of this. That's a norm. That's a norm. So again, we cannot say we did not know prior to. Yeah, that's what we can't do. Paula says, what is mental health looking like for our children? I asked my neighbor, and he said he want to go to school. You ask the average child. They want to be in school. And then you got the kids with the graduation. Like, my heart goes out to them. Like, I couldn't even imagine.
The seniors.
I couldn't even imagine.
Well, I mean, they've canceled SATs and ACTs, and if they thought they were going to have that final push, they don't. And our whole society is going to shift. So some of these things are way beyond us. Way under our control, and these are just the things we think about. So we're sharing our heart with the community of these are the things that keep us up at night. These are the things that we're thinking about. Not that some of these things are, anyone's fault. It is what it is. I believe God is in control, and
Yes,
He
he
wants to
is.
correct some things throughout the earth. And so,
Yes.
that's what's happening, and I'm okay with it. I'm listening. I'm listening. So I'm listening to what's coming from heaven
Right.
now. But in the same token, I think that us sharing our ideas of like what we're thinking about is not us, again, not complaining. It's just these are the thoughts that keep us up at night
Right.
as we
Because
think of the babies that we serve each and every day.
right. And because and I think how I look at this, okay, everybody who's graduated, for example, I have a niece and a nephew that both graduate this year. One is getting a bachelor's, one is getting a master's degree. And I'm just like, what, I can only imagine what's going on in their mind, what's going on with it. But what about the high school seniors who are just like, really, this is my graduation year? I mean, what about the ones who already had acceptance letters from colleges? But they gotta go and they haven't really technically finished all their credits, So those are things that I truly think
I'm
about.
seeing, hold on, Denise, I'm seeing some in the comments, and like some
Okay, go
people
Right,
ahead.
they're
ask.
going so fast. Can we get those last three comments
Ooh.
put back up so we
So
can
Mhm.
one
address
of them
those?
was, will they really cancel the whole rest of the year? Like, what do we think? Can I just give my view? Here's my view.
Yeah.
If we are going to shift to virtual learning, and now we're going to upend everything. We don't know this, people. I'm confessing. I don't know virtual learning. I'm learning along with my team. My
Right.
team doesn't know virtual learning. I can walk into a classroom and I know boom, 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 what to do, how to make it work. None of us are trained as virtual learning experts. So we're going to now take this journey for the next 3 weeks to become virtual learning teachers. Don't now flip back and say, okay, now go back to be regular classroom teachers. I
Right.
would prefer, let's just finish it out as virtual learning. You can't just
Yeah.
keep re-traumatizing us, because now we come back together in classroom. Now it's like, okay, now what we doing?
What are we doing? Mm-hmm.
Because you can't teach it the same way. You can't teach content the same way that you would do face-to-face, live in person, as
Right.
you would virtually, because they're not there. You can't see them writing. You can't see the errors they're making. You can't give
Right.
them that immediate feedback that we do as teachers. They can't grapple and turn to their neighbor and talk about it. It's a little bit different. Nothing's wrong with virtual learning. It's a great way to learn, but it requires a paradigm shift. And if we're going
Yes.
to go down that road, let's just go down the road. Let's not go down that road, stop, turn around, come back, and then go back to what we've been doing. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's just too much trauma. That's my personal opinion.
There was someone that made the inquiry or reference to the IEPs. I know that on the district website and also on the Florida Department of Education, they were making reference to what it's going to look like for individuals with IEPs. There is
Mm-hmm.
going to be a delay in that process for people that were writing them or needed to have their meetings. So I'm not an IEP or ESE specialist, but my co-teacher is, and she's highly concerned with it. She's highly concerned with, the students that we know for a fact need that one-on-one instruction in a fused
Right.
classroom setting, not the entire class time, but during specific areas where the level of instruction did not connect with them, for the level of understanding did not connect with them during instruction.
Right.
So
Right.
what is that going to look like? We don't know
Hold on.
because
Now let's be real. Let's talk about some legalities. Now,
okay,
legally, we are required to provide those services. That
I
IEP is
agree.
like a contract. If we do not, through virtual learning, still give them their contact time, we have to give it to them face to face. So you'll
Right,
probably see school get extended. I mean, those are compensatory services that they will be provided. We cannot just say, oh, well, to our
right,
ESC students,
Mm.
because that's a binding legal document. And I
right.
know this is new times, new territory. None of us has been there before, but I believe that sometime in the very near future, we're going to figure out how to make sure that our ESE babies still get their contact hours, so that we don't end up in a hole trying to give them back all the time that they've missed.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
legally, we're supposed to provide those services that are on that IEP.
Okay.
Yes, I know. Yeah, that's a must. And it goes back to, but what are we doing right now? I don't know. I don't know what that's going to look like, because
Right.
even for the extent, I know they said something about. There's so much information out there that's being read. It was credible resource. It either came from the Florida Department of Education or Hillsborough County's website is that it said that they would be either reaching out to the parents or somebody would do it. There's an extra step to it. So I'm gonna leave that to those people and their specialty, because I don't know. But I know there's some conversation to say what is going to be for the future for that population of kids. And keep in mind, the majority, and that goes back to this, the majority of my students are ESC because I'm a fuse teacher 4 periods a day. So again, back to that technology piece. Even when we practice technology in the classroom, a lot of them don't want to be bothered with it. They really don't. They rather have that one-on-one, that whole group, small group. They don't want to be bothered with that technology stuff unless it's with games. If it's a game associated, sure. But other than that, no. I excel, they don't want to be bothered with that. Prodigy, no, they don't want to be bothered with that. That's the truth. So
and that's true.
Based on my population of youth, yes. Any more questions out there, thought process? And then we're gonna talk about this good before we move on. How do you have speech through
legs?
Maybe the homebound staff can help with IEP 501. That is a great suggestion.
Great idea.
Great
idea.
Read it again.
And that is an educator. So yeah, she said maybe the homebound staff can help with IEP 504 accommodations.
Yes.
I don't know all the details behind that, but
that's good.
It says
we're supposed to be keeping distance, so we can't
take care of
practice our
yourselves
social
during this time
distancing if we send homebound to the house.
Send them in a suit. It's just the light and the low, y'all. Don't take it personal. Kimberly says, what are you all doing to take care of yourselves during this time? That's a great question. What are we doing? Stress the hell out. That's what I'm doing. Ain't no other words for it. I'm just stressed.
I do meditate and pray, and I do eat a whole sleeve of Oreo cookies. And you know, I've been inclined to sip on some adult beverages. I'm just letting you know. I get in here and I get one-on-one with God and we talk. And I just say, listen, and then I talk to my family, which that centers me, calling my family. We talk every single day at 9 a.m. There's a call that goes out, the whole family talk. And then we have another conference call by Skype twice a week. So that's tonight after I get off this live with everybody. But that's how I stay grounded and centered. And I just stay away from everybody. And I need a shower 3 times a day, even though I'm by this house by myself, like I'm going crazy.
And for me, with Tupac and a family member that, you know, is very high risk, along with myself, we are just trying to stay sane. We, you know, get up every morning. It's crazy. Yes, we clean once a week, you know, in the areas that we use on a day-to-day basis daily. But, you know, it became a habit of every morning, boys, get up, y'all get your Clorox wipe, wipe down the arms of the sofa, the remote controls for your games, the tablets, the door handles, and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, one asks, why are we doing this like this every day? They're not even processing what's going on the outside world because they've not been outside. And yes, unfortunately, I'm trying to keep them from seeing all the craziness that's happening with Corona, because I don't need them to go into a panic. They already have enough going on with their school lives, and, you know, bullying doesn't exist. I'm crazy, but it still exists. I can't, you know, shelter them from everything when they get to school. But realistically, it is what it is. We are not concerned academically with anything right now. This week, they've been doing art. That's what they chose to do. And it is spring break, so they've been having late nights in art. And when they go to sleep, I'm awake. And when they're awake, I'm asleep.
For me, we've been exercising a lot. We do each other's. There's this little thing I found, and we work out every morning, me and my team. My son goes to a private school, and they're on a different schedule. So they actually started their e-learning today. So, you know, that kind of rocks us a little bit, but definitely we've been really working out, prayer, meditation, and turning off everybody. Turn off electronics, turning off the news, turning all of that off so that we can mentally just, process everything that's happening. And we're staying home, because the problem we're having in Florida, reason our numbers are doubling, is because people are not taking this seriously, and people are not staying at home. So we want to get our kids back on track. Parents, we got to stay home. Like, literally, stop going out. Stop. This is not a hurricane. I think people are acting like it's a hurricane where you can still hang out with your friends and no, you can't do any of that. Stay home. That's really what we need to do.
Right. And people they're not understanding that, because it's like, okay, my thing is I like moving super early or extremely late, where I think people aren't about, but people started to get wise to that, because I passed by a Walmart at 6 a.m. It was 5:55 when I pulled in the parking lot. It looked like it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, well, guess what? I'm gonna have to try this another day, because I just don't want to be around people. Okay. So, but now, but people need to understand that you got to keep yourself in a situation where you're away from everyone else. And that's how you reduce it. And then also the other thing too is also April, you put a message up about the alcohol pass, which is a great thing, because for us, we use the alcohol pass to wipe your face, wipe it by your nose, around your ears. Because remember, the virus comes in through your nose, mouth, and ear. That's everything that happens to you is nose, mouth, throat, ear, especially, all that stuff. But keep that area especially clean. And it's been deep wash the hands, and clean the face with those pads, or just get rubbing alcohol and continue to wipe down. Because my sister was telling me too that the more we hydrate, first of all, and the more we keep that area especially clean, you're reducing it. So of course, obviously, don't go around people, because the more you around people, you breathing in or taking in all that stuff around another person. So it's just, and it's hard, I think. For me, I'm a hugger, so for me, being somebody who like to touch everything, and April knows, every when we travel, I'm touching stuff. The signs say do not touch, I want to touch it. And I'm just so, I have an issue with that. So for me, it's really killing me that I can't touch stuff, because I love touching. But at the same time, hey, I know I want to live too. How about that? Let me weigh these choices. Do I want to put my hands on everything, or do I want to live? Let me go ahead and live and be all right. How about that? So that's pretty much where we are.
And the whole food scenario that the school district is preparing for, I applaud them for the plan, the initiative, everything that they're coming up with for the kids to get the food. I am again going to say that for kids that live in the Nucio, East Tampa, all the way that is Hillsborough, 40th, 46, 30th. I think it go back to 30th Street, I want to say, Grant Park. If their closest site from the last list that I saw in the district is King High School. And at my site, we have 20 to 22 buses that come in to bring all the kids there and take them back home. How are they going to get it? That's all I want to know. I just want to know that, if that is the closest site. Now, I'm sure they probably, with the new plan, are going to develop more sites. But if you're not putting it in walking distance with some of the children, we're going to be stuck with a lot of food that's not going to get into the hands of the children that need it the most. That's just my input, that my little opinion that probably has no worth or value, but that's something to think about.
Right. They should put it on the buses. The same 22 buses that be rolling, put the food on the buses. You know which kids you're going to pick up and drop off. Just run a bus route first thing in the morning, and run a bus route the same afternoon route. Call it a day. But then again, that's too much like right. Legs. I need some legs. There you go. I just need legs. That's all.
So, with all of this being said, we just wanted to quickly come on here and give you all some insight on what the people are saying. And those people at this point are your educators, your parents, and even the students. Because again, their voices matter in all of these plans that are being developed around them. Yes. We all know that these are in different times. We've never experienced this. Correct. We've never experienced this in our lifetime. It hasn't happened before, but not during our lifetime. Right. So with so much evolution of technology, we get that we should be able to bring the information to the people in a collective manner so that it's more, it's more user friendly for everyone. But if everyone don't have the same access, the plan doesn't work. Correct. It just doesn't work. So we just have to be more mindful of, what this shows, the true equitable indifferences that exist. That's what it's showing.
That's what it's showing.
It's showing the true divide more than just digital. That's come on. That's what it's showing. Yeah. Now, don't get mad at us for sharing our experiences, because they mine. You ain't gotta like them. You gotta agree with them, but they are the truth.
Correct.
They are the truth, because again, I just hope we're not all making assumptions that every teacher has high-speed internet at their home. Please don't make that assumption. Please don't make the assumption that every teacher have access to all this plethora of resources that you want them to be able to provide digitally online to students. Please don't be under the assumption that every teacher has the personality to be able to be on the other side of a camera. How you know they don't have an anxiety of being involved with technology at all?
Right.
You have older people that it scares them to death. They don't have Facebook. They don't have social media. Please keep in mind that you have some students that are going to use some of this in their own way to create malicious posts about teacher, malicious memes about teachers. Are we thinking about any of that?
It's already been done. Mm-hmm.
So we got to think about this whole situation globally, how it's going to impact not only the teachers, but also the students. Is this realistically going to be the best fit for all? It says, April, I just hope we're not making the assumption that every teacher has. No, we don't.
No.
We don't. I'm going to say it loud. We don't. I got rid of internet at my house because the bill was so expensive. It's like 90 something. I'm not paying that. Right. So we took the cut, and I know a lot of other teachers that cut it too. So we use our cell phones. We use our phones. But if now my child needs to use the internet and the other, so where we at now? Where we at? I mean, now the quality of the service is no longer.
You can't use it for work, and the two of them use it for school.
Right.
You can't put 3 people on that cell phone.
You sure can.
Slow it down so bad that you actually cannot access any of the tools or resources.
Right. Right.
I have the lowest speed, and then I have an internet, and then I have a Fire Stick, but that's it. I got rid of DirecTV a long time ago.
Bianca. And to add to that, just by the way, it's very difficult because the internet speed in different zip codes vary. So that's another component on top of the digital divide that's not being talked about. It's not equitable with the high-speed internet in all zip codes. So with this special plan that they have for free internet for 60 days, and then it's $9.95. Well, it's a particular cap that they have on the data. So all the streaming of the YouTube videos and it's going to have issues with the server. There's going to be issues in certain areas where it completely blacks out, because we've had an issue probably about 3 weeks ago. I don't know if you remember, where it was gone, and everyone was in a frenzy because they couldn't get on because the server was overloaded. So I just want to add to that too, because that is a real thing. That divide is real.
Wow.
So based on your expertise, Bianca, before we get off, even with the kids getting the technology, because you used to teach technology, for the youth that were not in your classroom before, providing them a lot of background knowledge, meaning how to even use a keyboard, do you think the success rate is going to be that of where a teacher would be able to say, yes, this child did well based on the content, or you think the child is going to put more focus on the utilization of the actual computer itself? Where's the more focus going to be at?
The focus is going to be them actually using the computer and being familiar. So as a business technology educator, I would literally have to coach my children how to do things step by step by step by step. It was hard because the language and the vernacular and the things that was written out for them in black and white was not something that was at their reading level. So when I was teaching Microsoft Office and Microsoft PowerPoint and we were going through scripts, that was not written in the language that some of our kids can read. So again, that creates another barrier that is there in that position, because then we have issues with our children reading. And go back to the statement with our parents, the system has failed our parents generation after generation. Who's going to help that child read these prompts and be able to interpret what they're supposed to do and what checkpoints that they're supposed to do? So I understand that there's going to be some YouTube videos that's supposed to be coming out to guide. However, I do know for a fact that some of our children, the way that, just my experience, they are coached step by step by step on what to click on, how to click on it. And then once they get familiar with it, then they develop autonomy.
And we do that when we're preparing them for, well, in the past, we used to prepare them for the FSA online. We would take them into the lab and take them step by step. This is what you do for this. This is what you do for that. See, that key piece is missing now.
Right.
Y'all do that still for the fair testing, right, Denise?
Yes, we do, because you have to show them how to use all the tools that they need to use, the highlight tools and the, okay, here's the audio tool and here's a tool for that. So it's every little small thing you have to show them, but you have to have repeated time in the lab to show the kids what to do. Now here we jumping from a completely, analytical to now digital platform, and it's like, what?
No.
It's like, was it analog to digital? That's what we're doing. And it's like, okay, you mean to tell me I got to do this on my own and follow these directions?
And there's no universal digital. There's no universal digital way. It's not like, okay, we're going to all build YouTube videos, or we're going to all use
right.
And
Zoom,
that's
or
the
we're going to
problem
all use
right there.
iReady, or we're going to all use, there's no one, the district has not decided like, hey, you have to use this platform. So now let's help kids get acclimated to this platform. That hasn't happened.
Yeah.
Right.
And that would be phenomenal if that was the case, that we're all, for all middle school, all elementary, if it was a one size fits all for this initial rollout of this plan, because right now it seems like everybody just trying to figure out what they're going to be doing on their own. And hey, we expecting for the best. We appreciate all that they've done. The thing that we wanted to come here tonight to basically talk about, how are the teachers and the children and the administrative staff doing? That's what we want to talk about. And we hope we provided you all with what we thought was good information.
Thank you. Y'all have a lovely evening.
Well, until next time, thank y'all for tuning in. And this is your host, Teacher for the Culture, with April Cobb and Denise Thomas and Dr. Kavita Edwards. And the reason how I was able to pop in, Marlene, was because they're using the platform with Teacher for the Culture to host their show. So that's how I was able to pop in.
We using her network, Teacher for the Culture. Come through.
That's right.
You want to get the education information out there, who do you reach? Teacher for the Culture. She will do all your behind the scenes pop up and show some legs.
Legs.
So let's get it up. So we get some shop music going on. Let's get some shop music going on. Let's a little bit of shop.
Now, y'all.
We got to keep it light, y'all. We got to keep it light.
All right, here we go. Let me get this up now. So y'all done caught me off guard. I usually had this queued up and ready. Here we go.